Call roll.
Bird.
Here.
Again.
Here.
Stein.
Here.
Mormon.
Here.
Hilheimer.
Here.
Williamson.
Here.
Ray.
Here. Okay, number 2, approval of agenda.
Any changes, Your Honor?
No changes this evening.
Move to approve.
Call roll.
Again.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes.
Mormon.
Yes.
Hilheimer.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Bird.
Yes. Okay, number 3, presentation of petitions and other communications. A, quarterly report from Ames Economic Development Commission.
Good evening, Mayor Slade, members of the Boone City Council. It's good to be here tonight. Despite the weather and the wind and all that sort of stuff. Dan Colhane with Ames Economic Development Commission here on behalf of our contractual arrangement with the city of Boone. To give you our first year quarterly report for the first quarter of 2022. You know, I gotta say, sometimes I think I spend more time in Boone than I do in Ames, which is just fine. But we continue to enjoy working here. We've got a lot of good things going on. A couple things I bring to your attention. You've got the report in front of you that outlines really well the kinds of things that we're working on. But I think one of the highlights of the first quarter was having Iowa Economic Development Authority Director Debbie Durham here to look around a little bit and see what's going on. I think that kind of attention from the State Department of Economic Development is always useful. I was equally pleased with the luncheon we had later that morning, where a number of you were there as well to hear her presentation on the importance of downtown, the importance of reinvesting in your downtown. I can tell you, we've always got the ear of Director Durham, as do most people in our business, and as a result of that, it tends to lead to good things for our communities that we work within. And I look back in the last few years, we've had projects in Story City, Nevada, Huxley, certainly Ames and other places. In large part, and almost always, the state has a hand in that as well. And so that relationship is critically important to us. It's always been a high priority for us. And I'm grateful to say it's a high priority now on behalf of the Boone community as well. And we just mentioned briefly, I think Bill Scare is joining us on our trip to Washington, D.C. coming up in June. We do an annual trip. It's almost have been annual the last couple of years. But we'll be going to Washington, D.C. To meet the delegation. I would encourage you as elected officials to think about the issues that are important to you, that are impacting in Washington, D.C. That's a great place to advocate on your own behalf. Certainly we'll be advocating on your behalf as well. But come one, come all, if you would like to attend, you're certainly welcome to do so. That trip is June 7th through the 9th. And we'll have a delegation of about 30 people, I would expect. I also mentioned that we were really excited in the first quarter of the year to make a contract with the Boone County Economic Growth Corporation. I see Nate Neerham's here tonight, their current board chair, and a number of their board members. We invited them tonight for something else I've got to share with you tonight. But we're off to a really good start. Brenda Dreyer is leading that piece of our business. And we've got a really, really strong, positive relationship with those folks, just like we do with you. And so we're really encouraged by that. At the same time, something that was kind of a serendipitous opportunity was we're also doing some work now in Ogden, and we formalized that here a few weeks ago. And again, a lot of the things that we're doing on your behalf, we can help them with as well. Housing's a priority there, like it is here, like it is everywhere, right? But as a result of that, it's great to have a number of those communities that are all like-minded and working in one direction, and more importantly, working with one team. And as I told you a year and a half ago when we first started working for you, our bench strength was one of our biggest assets. And we have that again today. We had a little dip there and we lost some really good people that moved on to bigger opportunities for themselves. But we've got a really strong team and I'm really proud of them and proud of the work that we're doing right now. And so there's a lot of stuff in your report. I won't go through all of that. A lot of good information. The last thing I want to do is I want to introduce David Bulmer from Alliant Energy. David is here along with Mason Adams from Alliant Energy. Certainly they're a good economic development partner and community development partner in all of our communities around in the area we serve. But David's got a special announcement tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to him and I'll answer any questions at the conclusion of David's presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is David Bulmer. I'm the Senior Key Account Manager with Alliant. But most importantly, this evening, I sat on a BEST committee, and BEST is, I have to always get it right, Business Expansion and Strategic Trends. And the Iowa Economic Development Authority started this many, many years ago, and they brought together Mid-Am, Black Hills Energy, Lion Energy, and Iowa Area Development Group. And that's a development group that oversees all the RACs. And from there, I sit on that committee that oversees all our synchronous calls. And that's where we go out and visit with organizations, companies, most likely industrial companies, and find out what's going on, what are the trends. We've been doing this for so many years. It's one of the top programs anywhere in the Midwest. And we harp and harp on economic development groups, and our people are going out to make the calls because it's not the sexy thing, rolling up your sleeves and going out and visit. Everyone wants to recruit a new company, bring those in, but 85% of the growth comes from existing industry. And we're here tonight to acknowledge the city of Boone for what you've done and give you this excellence award. Because if I went back and looked today in our files, in 18, you were not on the map of visiting within the industry. 19, you didn't have anybody on the map. And 20, you had 1. And this past year, you had 16. So we don't take that lightly. We look at what counties are doing, what they're working on. And tonight, we want to acknowledge you for taking that step and saying, okay, these people are important to us. We need to know what they're saying. We want to hear what they're saying. And with that, you went from 0 to 100 miles an hour with 16 on that list that you're collecting information from. So congratulations. So thank you.
Nice, thank you. Oh,
They're gonna stand there with you. Have them come back.
Oh.
Coming up.
For the radio.
Gotta think about that.
You know, folks, that's really, really good stuff because when David called a month or so ago and told me about the award, I said, well, frankly, this award should go to the city of Boone, the elected officials that have the courage to hire us to do the work. You know, that's how this is supposed to work. And David's exactly right. And you all know this too, because hopefully you've heard this from me before, but the vast majority of our job growth here or anywhere else is going to come from the people that are already here. And so if we're not taking care of them, if we're not taking care of them on your behalf, we're not doing our job. And so I'm really it's really gratifying the city of Boone is receiving this award because that is such important work. And again, I talked to a group this afternoon and I said, you know, it is the prettiest thing. You know, what really is shining and bright is when you get to cut the ribbon on a brand new company that comes to your community. But at the end of the day, it's the people that are already here that are plowing resources back into their own businesses and their own community and creating those meaningful employment opportunities. And so that's what the Best of Iowa really acknowledges. And so congratulations to all of you. Thanks for being a great partner. I'll stop there and I'll answer any questions you might have. Even you, Chief, you got a question, I'll answer.
Any questions? Thank you very much. That's very nice. Appreciate it. So. Okay. Next up, public hearing considered granting of an easement to Interstate Power and Light Company. The written comments. The public comments. Public hearing is closed. C, public hearing on the proposed plan specifications, formal contract, and estimate of cost for the fire department's building expansion project. Any written comments? No. The public comments. This public hearing is closed. Report of standing committees. A, policy administration. DJ. Report. Public safety. Stephen. I don't believe we do yet. Okay, well, we'll just wait this week and see if we hear about it.
I'll send one out.
Okay, next up, utility committee, Steve.
See a resolution here that's authorizing the execution of professional services between us and the HKS to continue the sewer I-9 inspection. And
basically kind of the central part of town. This we are focusing on here in 2022.
Agreed.
Black. Downtown or Benton, and then what is it, so. In any event, came before the committee, and obviously we recommend to the council to continue this. I think this is more benefits than we can imagine. And it's very for us to continue this project, so. No, we'll need a motion. Okay. So I'll make a motion that we approve that resolution.
Same. Call the roll.
Steins.
Yes.
Mormon.
Yes.
Hilheimer.
Yes.
Williamson. Yes. Ray.
Yes.
Bird.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Okay, next up, economic development area. No report, Your Honor. Okay, number 5, department reports, building official, Ed.
Thank you, Your Honor. On the agenda, we have the site plan, submitted by Phil. Design services on behalf of the city of Boone Fire Department. That's for an addition, I've all been talking about a little bit, to the station, to accommodate a new truck. That Justin was able to obtain through a grant. The addition itself will be a little bit taller and a little bit longer than the original building. That's to allow these newer trucks, cabs to forward, and they can't do that now with the existing trucks they have because they have to pull them outside the old station doesn't accommodate that, so they'll basically do that. P&Z took a look at it, had no issues with it. P&Z and staff is recommending approval. Any questions? Justin, you want to add anything?
Nope.
Move. Call the roll.
Mormon.
Yes.
Hilheimer.
Yes.
Williamson. Yes. Ray.
Yes.
Bird.
Yes.
McGinn.
Yes.
Steins.
Yes.
Okay, next up, finance officer, Andrea.
Yes, on last year's first, the fiscal year 22 insurance renewal. Last year we made a decision to take on more risk in order to achieve a 2.95, a negative 2.95% increase on our health insurance or decrease in this situation. That was a total savings of $202,000. Although we have not used any of this savings to cover our higher risk, we have seen an increase in our partial self-funded account. This year, for next year's renewal, this was 6.89%. In addition to that 6.89%, I'm requesting to increase our partial self-funding from 20 to 27%. This will help cover any additional risks that we took on with the plan change last year. And that would result in about a $43,000 increase into their partial self-funding account. The nice thing about that account is if our claims don't come in, we don't use it, it goes into our checking account with them. So it's not necessarily an increase for premiums. I also have that accommodated in our fiscal year 2023 budget. Our life insurance and our vision plans saw no increase. And those are 2-year plans, so for the next 2 years, they remain steady. Our third-party administrator, which is Employee Benefit Systems, they have requested an increase of 15 cents per employee per month for the administration for a partial self-funding plan, and 50-cent increase for administering our self-insured dental plan. For the bulk of them, it is a total of a $500 increase for the entire year, so it is very minor. There is a resolution in the consent agenda authorizing me to sign all the insurance renewal contracts. So I would take any questions if you have any.
Okay, thank you. City Attorney Jim.
No report, John.
Director of Public Works is not Wayland. Do you have anything for us?
No report, Your Honor.
Okay. Engineer. Public Safety, Chief Adams.
No report, Your Honor.
Chief Weeble.
No report, Your Honor.
City Administrator, go.
Thank you, sir. First up is a wellness center update. If you remember at the last council meeting, there was a question on Fairway's donation to the wellness center, whether it was tied to 628 Story Street. It is tied to 628 Story Street. In addition, I have reached out to ANZDC and made a request on them or for them, if they would draft a plan moving forward and identify funding solutions or opportunities to support this wellness center without the use of any increase in utility fee. This will take a while to do. We have had some good conversations about this plan. And I've asked them to have this ready for me by the June 6th council meeting, at which time I will bring that plan forward with a recommendation on whether to move forward or not, or at least get your input on this.
So explain that a little bit more. What will the plan tell us?
I don't have details tonight. I just asked them to put together the plan. It'll involve funding for the project. It'll involve 628 Storage Street. So that we can work out a plan, and Andrea, obviously, it will be part of this on the finance side. How we're going to do it. Yeah, that's all part of it. But I'll have full details for you on June 6th. Once it allows them time to move forward and submit it. So I can inform you, obviously, this is your decision. If anybody has any concerns with that, if not, I'm going to move forward.
I'm glad to hear that Fairway is continuing to support this project. And it sounds like they have made it clear that they really prefer that location.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think that also is information important for us to share with the community, because I know just when we were working on the whole project, initially, people would still bring up, they would like to use the old Y site. And I think we need to realize that that partnership will not be there if we do that. So I think that's, for me, very strong motivation why we would continue looking at the location that we had started with.
Yeah, there's no other option. They want it downtown. They feel it's important to downtown, and that's what they want.
So June 6th. Absolutely intend to have the presentation for the rest of the. Next item.
Okay, next item up is discuss salary survey results. Those were sent out to you. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that? And I spent a lot of time going through these, looking at each community. I didn't pick the communities, that was picked by other people in their communities our size, and really looked at population, obviously. We looked a little closer at certain departments and probably call volumes, those things like that. And then I gave my recommendations, what I felt they should be. Those recommendations for those are before the 4% increase. So I took that into account, knowing July 1 is a 4% increase. So anybody have any questions or comments on that?
I mean,
That's quite interesting.
actually, one of the things we gotta remember is government is struggling with retention of good, solid, experienced people. It's happening everywhere, so it's, I think this does two things, you ensure keep it account reward them.
If you look, most of those increases put us about, I have nobody exceeding higher than, I looked at the size of, a couple of those communities are bigger, obviously. There's a handful of them that are smaller that are ahead of us. So I've done this a long time. It seems like every 5 to 10 years, we've got to look at this and kind of catch back up, because we always just kind of slowly fall behind, so. And I didn't give myself a raise, because I'm right in the middle, council's right in the middle. I looked at police, fire, city administrator, finance officer, and I think I looked at public works as well. Yeah. So glad to answer any questions.
I just think it's something that does need to be reviewed every couple of years, so that we are comparable to similar sized communities, and I think that's important.
Dan mentioned this a little earlier, but I just want to, on the DC trip that was supposed to be in April, moved to June 7th and 9th. In addition, Councilman Byrd has asked and is going with us on this trip. I look forward to him coming with us. The very fruitful trip. Last item I have is, you remember we talked about the de-annexation of property at the last council meeting. I will, to update you, I'll tell you that council was simply on that issue. Council is, or excuse me, staff is simply enforcing the ordinance. Nothing more. So.
Number 6, consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that you'd like to move and discuss separately? And if not, any motion to approve?
Second. Call the roll.
Hilheimer,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Bird,
Yes.
again,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Mormon,
Yes. Okay, number 7, ordinances. A, first reading ordinance 2277 to allow the city of Boone to change the cigarette and tobacco legal age from 18 to 21.
So moved.
Call the roll.
Williamson,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Bird,
Yes.
again,
Yes.
Stein,
Yes.
Mormon,
Yes.
Hilheimer,
Yes.
Okay, number 8, I have no comments. Number 9, any council comments this evening?
I just have a couple things, Your Honor. I went to a CBB Nights on the Green Committee meeting and got roped into joining that committee. So, I was just wondering, is the city gonna put that Ibo back down there for all summer? We decided to do that right at the last year.
Yeah, my recollection is that the one goes down there and the additional would be responsible.
Right.
And I believe JR is working on that.
Yeah, just so it's there by June 1st.
Okay.
I just want to remind council that CBB will be holding their first
May 1st.
May 1st, sorry. Yes. Yeah. June 1st be- Yeah. CBB will be holding the first Nights on the Green event on Friday, May 6th at 2022 at from 5 to 9 p.m. I'd like to encourage all the committee, the council members to share that information on their pages if they would, and tell your friends and neighbors. I think it's going to be very exciting, and we got some new things that are going to be happening. Focus on kids stuff. I'm going to let Chris expand on that a little bit if you want to.
Yeah, sure. So, like Terry said, we'll start at 5 o'clock, have kids' activities from about 5 to 6, and then our live entertainment will start from 6 to 9. Have a little bit of, the first night on May 6th, our theme is Thanks with Franks. So we'll give away 500 free hot dogs, courtesy or thank you to Fairway. They wanted to sponsor our very first night, so they'll be down cooking the hot dogs. And, we'll give those away as well. Some kids' activities are going on. We'll kick off with entertainment and have beer garden in the area and celebrate this community. We're excited.
That's all I have.
Any other council comments? Any public comments for items not on the agenda? Well, not. Meeting is adjourned.